It feels weird. Not done one of these for a long time, but I'm riddled with COVID, so I don't really have much choice. Shh. Anyway, let's get into the 5 reasons why I did choose and still would choose to buy the Canon R5 over the Sony A7S III. But before I do, just want to say I'm not slating the Sony, it's a fantastic camera. I'm just saying these are things that I personally didn't like about it, and the reasons why the Canon was a far better fit for what I need from a camera over the Sony. You buy a camera for what you need, not for what I need. But hopefully if you are still umming and ahhing, that this will give you some insights on the Sony that don't always get spoken about in the reviews. So anyway, let's get into it. So leading up to this, I'd made the decision that I was going to switch to mirrorless from DSLR, but there's always that question of Canon or Sony. Like, I've used Canon for God knows how long now, but I'm by no means a Canon loyal fanboy. I don't have Canon tattooed on my arse, I don't sleep with one, I don't have flags flying outside my house. I've just always really liked the product, and it's always been the best for what I've needed. But that said, the A7S III was really tempting me, and I was literally like, go on the verge of making the switch. But then I got the opportunity to have a go using the A7S III, and this is where things changed. Now, I'm going to do these as almost like nails in the coffin, so some of really small minor problems that weren't really deal breakers, and some of the other ones that I'll talk about a little bit later on in the video were massive deal breakers. But all of these things combined for me were just like, no. No. Let's get into it. The first thing was the beeping in the menus, right? And for those of you who don't know what I mean by beeping, but when you push record and stop recording and stuff like that, the Sony makes a stupid bloody bing, bleep. It's just like, I get you can turn it off, but it's a professional bit of equipment. It shouldn't be there in the first place. It's not a toy. What? Why? But the menus are just so bloody complicated. Like, it may be that I'm just really simple, or it may be that you need a degree in computer science to work them out, but I just couldn't easily work it out. Yes, I know it's not massive because I would eventually learn it. So for me, learning the whole new menu system that wasn't going to be easy to learn because it's so complicated and not user friendly, like the thought of it I was dreading. But yeah, not enough to put me off. The second thing is, and this is quite a big problem for me personally, was the build quality of the Sony. Now, I'm not saying it's badly built, I'm not saying the build quality was bad, it just didn't feel like it. It just didn't feel like it was built well, it didn't feel solid. The reason why this was such a big problem for me was because I'm very run and gun. Anyone who's worked with me or seen me work or whatever knows I'm quite tough on equipment because I push it to its limit to get various different shots that in my weird head make sense but involve the camera getting covered in mud and water and shit and all sorts. And there's something about the Sony just didn't feel like it could handle it. Whereas like my Canon, for example, like solid. Yeah, just like I know that if the tripod fell over, I wouldn't worry about this. That peace of mind, just knowing that it's just a solid bit of kit, just takes that worry away, just gives you that freedom to explore slightly riskier shots and things like that. Where the Sony, I just didn't have that at all. So moving on to probably the biggest nail in the coffin for me, this was the point that I just went, no, I am buying the Canon. This was the point that I thought, this camera doesn't tick my boxes at all. It's not built for me. But when I tell you what this point is, you're going to go, what is he on about? He didn't buy it because of that. The lens release button. I bought the Canon over the Sony because of a lens release button. But bear with me, let me explain. So, he touched me here. That's the lens release button here, right, okay? You know the drill, push in, twist, lens comes off. For some reason, the Sony one is here, in here, right? And because it's not nice to hold the Sony, if you disagree with me, then maybe it's personal opinion, but I really don't like holding the thing. It just doesn't feel right, it doesn't sit in your hand nicely. And because of that, what you end up doing is you end up gripping it hard, holding it tight, because it doesn't self-support in your hand. Whereas the way the Canon sits, it's like I don't have to put any effort into holding it because it just, the way it sits just holds itself there. The Sony doesn't do that. And what you end up doing is you end up gripping it tightly, and these fingers here are perilously close to the lens release button. And when you're not thinking about it, and it may just be because I was fresh into it, I found what happened three times, which in my opinion was 3 times too many, was that button just gets pushed because of how your fingers sit, and because there's no avoiding it, because there's literally millimeters between not pushing it and pushing it. 3 times I think it was, I found that the lens had come loose because the button had got pushed and then the movement of the camera twists it. I've not heard any like horror stories of it. If the lens comes loose that easy, just holding it, imagine if I was doing a whip pan without realising the lens was loose and the movement would rotate it and fling it off. You know that fish thing on TikTok where the fish, it goes and hits that lady in the face who's presenting the news. I could just see the lens being like that, or even just putting the camera down to your side and the lens just dropping off and smashing on the floor. And lenses are not cheap, as you know, and the last thing I'd want is my lens falling off. So that, at that point, that is just where I went. The fourth? Am I on fourth? Yeah, so the fourth thing was the screen. Yes, it's an articulating flip LCD, which is a massive selling point for not just me, for pretty much anyone looking to make the change from DSLR to mirrorless, is having that flip screen option. And there's just something about not only the way it just feels a little bit flimsy again, like the whole camera, but how can I explain this? It just doesn't look nice. Just the way it displays stuff just doesn't look nice. Like the colours just don't look nice. It just doesn't, you're not looking at it, filming a banging shot going, yes. You're looking at it going, oh, I don't want to be seeing that. Once it's on the computer screen, the footage is stunning. Genuinely is stunning, but just on the screen it just doesn't look like inspiring. It just doesn't look nice. And the final thing is massive. I am what you call a hybrid shooter, so I shoot photo and video. Like when you're getting anything in life, you've got to look at what do you need from it and does it deliver on those needs. Yes, the Sony produces super incredible, beautiful video footage, has amazing frame rate options and amazing in low light as Sony's are, and that for me was, you know, really tempting. Tick. Photos. That's 12 megapixels and like iPhone level of, yeah, it's not designed for it. I know it's not designed for it. I don't expect it to be good at photos, and it's not. You know, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing a professional photo shoot on something that isn't even designed for it. Then you look at the Canon. Does the Canon produce beautiful video? Yes, because it looks stunning. Does the Canon produce amazing photos and offer the professional level of photo features that I personally need? Yes. No brainer. And just to reiterate, I'm not saying that the Sony's bad. The Sony's incredible, and there's a lot of things about the Sony that I think I would prefer massively over the Canon. But the Canon ticks all my boxes because it allows me to be the shooter that I am, which is hybrid. And that is what the decision boiled down to in the end was, yes, the Sony may be a slightly superior video camera, but the photo features are way subpar. The Canon, yeah, it ticks all the boxes I need video. It produces professional quality video that I think looks stunning. I've never had any overheating problems. I've never had any of the other issues that people mention. So it's well up there video wise. And the photo capabilities of this R5 are just as impressive as the video, and that was massively overshadowed in their marketing. They didn't really mention it. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on. I'm sorry if it's not made sense, but COVID brain and all of that, I'm really struggling today. Let me know down in the comments. Are you Canon, Sony, Panasonic, Fujifilm? Got to watch out for Panasonic actually. They're gonna steal the game, I reckon. Yeah, just let me know down below. Are you thinking of changing? Have you made the change? Are you happy with your change? Do you regret your change? I want to know. Like, comment, subscribe. Please do all that good stuff. It means so much to me. And this year, 2022, this channel, I just want to grab it by the balls and really looking to push it. So I'll see you in the next one.